Hello and welcome to another episode of the Autocrats. And today, we're looking at the ultimate off-roader, the perfect car for families looking for an escape out of the city. It is, of course, the Land Rover Discovery. In the late 80s, Land Rover had just two models. There was the highly competent go-anywhere but rather basic Defender, and there was the highly competent go-anywhere but rather luxurious and expensive Range Rover. Clearly there was a massive gap to be filled, so in 1989, Land Rover took the Range Rover platform and drivetrain and built an entirely new body over it. Thus, the first Land Rover Discovery was born. It was practical, versatile, family-friendly, and it could seat 7 people. And it was, less precious than a Range Rover and much nicer than a battle-ready Defender. You could put the family and everything in there and go anywhere and not worry about it. Now, I remember driving it back when it was first launched, and I thought it was fresh and funky, and yet to drive it still felt like a Range Rover. It's a win-win situation, I thought. And the formula has worked. Fast forward 29 years, and we have the latest Land Rover Discovery. Underneath, this is based on the Range Rover and the Range Rover Sport, which means it gets a new aluminium structure, making it 500 kilograms lighter, and that's good for fuel economy. Gone is the boxy design of the previous Discovery, and you get a sleeker, more aerodynamic profile. Very, very different from what we're used to, but the only thing that it seems to retain from all the previous Discoveries is this stepped roofline. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we get inside. The car, despite looking smaller, is actually 141 millimeters longer, although it stays under 5 meters in length, which is crucial if you're worried about where you're going to park the car. Now, like previous Discoveries, towing is important, and this car can tow 3,500 kilograms. In fact, it has a tow assist feature, which allows you to get some assistance when you're reversing your caravan or your boat into that parking space. You have up to 2,500 liters of cargo space in here as well, and in fact, let's go and have a look at the boot. Now, you may remember that previously the Discovery had a split tailgate, so the bottom part would come down. Now you just have the one piece and no bottom part. But what's this? Well, Land Rover still want you to have somewhere to sit on, being a Land Rover. Now you press this button over here and this bit comes down like that, and then you can, well, sit on it. But in addition to sitting on here, there are of course 7 more seats in this car, and they tell us that full-size adults can actually fit in them. So it's time for me to try them all out. Well, you remember that stepped roof that I showed you on the outside? Inside, what that enables them to do is to basically put each row of seats higher than the one in front. Just giving the passengers a little bit of a lift, and that gives you a little bit more space, or the feeling of space, to avoid feelings of, say, claustrophobia. For example, if there were more people in here. And I'll tell you another thing. Sometimes you're sitting in the 3rd row of seats and there's nowhere to plug in, because that's usually in the front or in the middle row. But not with Land Rover, they thought of everything. So right here, we have a little compartment, and in the compartment, I can plug in. And there's plenty back here as well. Of course, you have USB points here as well. There's a little pocket and our own AC climate control button, so we can adjust the temperature and everything from back here. Additionally, the seat that I'm sitting in, the seat over there, and the 2 behind all have ISOFIX child seat anchor points, so all very safe and very, very handy. I'll tell you what, it's really comfortable back here. In fact, I think I'm going to have a snooze. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Man, those guys are so annoying, right? Not to worry, because I can get rid of them all with just one button. One button folds down all of the seats. In fact, back here we've got Discovery's world first intelligent seat fold technology, which means that I can operate both of the rear rows from these buttons right here. Additionally, I've also got a button back here that raises and lowers the car. So for example, if you've got heavy goods to put in there. All very useful. So under the bonnet you get a 3-litre V6 supercharged engine giving you 340 brake horsepower and 450 Newton meters of torque. That gives you the 0 to 100 time of 7.1 seconds, which is about what a hot hatch would do, so not bad at all. And top speed is 215 kilometers per hour. Now the all-wheel drive, of course it's a Land Rover, is mated to an 8-speed ZF automatic transmission. And of course you get the Land Rover terrain response system. In this case it's the latest Response 2 version of the system. And what that does is it basically adjusts the ride height, adjusts the stability systems, and basically the traction control systems to allow for the best responses and best driving in any given condition, be it dry, be it gravel, be it sand, or be it slippery conditions. You can either select that yourself or leave it in full automatic and it will do it for you. Whilst you're rising and floating above it all, feeling so good about yourself, don't relax too much. Don't nod off, because it does have a driver drowsiness detection monitor which will keep an eye on you and make sure that you're fully alert and safe to drive the car. Out on the road it's got a pretty good ride. It sort of absorbs all the bumps as you would expect. Of course if you turn the wheel then it does kind of lean heavily each way, but you know what, that is a Land Rover thing. And that primarily comes from the fact that the suspension on these things have a lot of travel, which of course is what gives them their great off-road ability. But overall, it's a pretty decent cruiser with decent performance. Here we go. Not bad. And because of the newer, slipperier shape, it's quite refined and quiet on a motorway as well. But you know what? Don't take my word for it. Find your local Land Rover dealer, be Altair or otherwise. Go and check it out, take it for a drive, and let us know what you think of the car. Auto trivia time, guys. Now the original Land Rover Discovery was actually badged and sold as a completely different make in one particular market. And quite a surprising one at that. Can you guess what that was? Now I'll reveal the answer a bit later on, but first, let's get some more details on the latest Discovery. So I'm here with Wes Tungeka, who is the brand training manager, Jaguar Land Rover here at Altair Motors. Hey Wes, how you doing?
I'm fine, Shehzad, how are you?
I'm fine. I've been out in the Discovery today. I found it to be a really spacious vehicle. But what makes it the ultimate car for the adventurous family?
Well, for every adventure you need a family, as you said. Yeah. So the best thing about the Discovery is it fits in 7 full-size adults. A lot of storage space. The design is important, but at the same time it also should be practical. So a lot of storage inside. Also you can put in a lot of load space, unrivaled towing. To top it, you've got the off-road capability of the vehicle, and a lot of nice features in the car, including my personal favorite, the activity key, where you can just leave the keys inside the car in the cup holder, put on a wristband, and then you can unlock and lock the car just using the activity key.
That's a really cool feature, and it's kind of it's a sort of a personal touch, isn't it?
Absolutely.
What other ways can you customize and personalize the car to give it your own identity?
A lot of options available to personalize on the Discovery. It starts from the outside with the exterior, with the colors. So you've got 12 different colors to choose from. 2 different design packs. There is the dynamic design pack and the black exterior pack, which can also enhance the look of the car from outside. And then there are the different trim levels which are available inside. There are 4 different trim levels on the car. There's the S, SE, HEC and HEC Luxury, which give you the different options of personalizing the car from the interior. But above all, you've got over 100 different accessories to choose from.
Wow.
And you can choose these exterior or interior accessories, the touring accessories, and that can definitely help you personalize the car.
That's amazing. It sounds like there's a lot of ways to make this your own personal Discovery. Thanks so much, Awis.
My pleasure, Shehzad.
So earlier on I asked you what other badge was this car, the original Discovery, marketed as? Well, in fact, it was the Honda Crossroad. Between 1993 and 1998, that's what it was sold as in Japan. The reason for that was because Honda owned 20% of Rover at the time, and Rover of course owned Land Rover. Interestingly, not only was it one of the very first Honda SUVs, but it was the first and only Honda to have a V8 engine. So now you know, a font of useless information as always. That's what I am. Anyway, that was our show. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do follow us at this address, and of course leave your comments, suggestions and questions there, and hopefully we'll get back to you in the next episode. See you then.